Technology is changing constantly every day. It is one of the fast changing industries out there. From one day to the next, you could be outdated in just a day or two.
Hey everyone, it's Jen Foster here with the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. We're really excited today because we have Kate Bowcut here. She's an expert and has owned a business for quite a few years. And we're going to dive into technology, IT, and what you need to know for your business, what you need to have for your business, and a little bit of security stuff. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Jen. So great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in IT and security and all that stuff.
Oh gosh, that's a fun story. My husband has always been in technology. He's been doing tech whole life. Since he was a kid, he would break stuff just so he could learn to fix it. Um, and I actually worked at a treatment center. I was a counselor for a while and I took a summer vacation. I said, I need a break. And so I played all summer and enjoyed the summer as much as I could. And then when summer was over, I had to go back to work and I just still feeling like I wasn't ready to go back into the counseling world. And my husband was like, hey, I can do a job in IT if you want. And I was like, okay, I could do that. And so I made the transition. I started working in IT. I worked as an Apple specialist and then got recruited to be a cell phone and small electronics repair in a cell phone shop. And so it's just gone from one thing to the next. And every once in a while, I'll think, do I want to go back to therapy or counseling? And I'm just like, I'm having way too much fun in technology. Like, this has been fabulous. It's been a great transition. And I've been now in technology for these 15 years. It's been great.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a good amount of time, though. So you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, like, for business owners, what kind of things do we need if we're a small business or like we have 100 employees? Like, what kind of technology do we need to make sure that we're caught up on and have in our office?
Technology is changing constantly every day. It is one of the fast changing industries out there. From one day to the next, you could be outdated in just a day or two. So I highly recommend having somebody who's involved in technology, lives it, breathes it every day to help business owners with their technology. Some things are easy, but some things can be complicated and it can be the lifeblood of your business. So if you lose technology, it could be a really bad day. So we don't want to do that. I always recommend that everybody have at least a few things. There's a strong password, two-factor authentication, and really good backup. Um, with cyber incidents these days, it's not a question of when or a question of if, it's a question of when. And unfortunately, that's getting more and more true to the smaller businesses. I used to not see it as often, but now I'm seeing it pretty regularly with small businesses and medium businesses where they're just, and if they don't have the right precautions and the right setups in place, then it really takes them out and sometimes for business. And that's never a fun conversation to have. So I always recommend have good security where you can and have a good technology partner that knows what's going on, that's in it every day because technology changes. But to make sure that you've got backup and secured passwords, that can be the difference between a real serious situation and that was fun.
Yeah, I think passwords are a big thing. I know for me, I'm always like, oh, I need to go and change these passwords, or oh, I need to go change a password. But it feels like such a big task. Like, how do you attack it if it's like, okay, they want you to change your password for an email that you set up 25 years ago? And you change the password to the email, but then they want you to change the password on all these other websites that you don't even know if you're even,
Oh,
you don't really go there anymore.
one of my favorite tools, actually a really good password manager. I personally use 1Password and I really love the system that it has. It also will do the two-factor authentication for you. So you don't have to pull out your phone or find your email. It's just all listed right there. And it's an application. So you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your computer, and you can put it pretty much anywhere. That is my favorite application because then you can make passwords that you never have to remember, and they can be really complicated, and you have to remember one password, and that's your password to get into one password. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite program to use. I personally have used it for the last 3 years, and I really have loved it. But changing your password when they're easy and they're actual words are pretty important to do. If you had a
Yeah.
password manager where you didn't have to memorize your passwords and it can be just gibberish, it's
Mhm.
probably, I don't want to say it's less important, but it's more secure to have a really crazy.
Yeah. Like an extra layer of protection.
So then you don't have to change your passwords as often, maybe. So that can be useful. But if you do have to change passwords, make sure you're using very strong passwords, ones that are not easily guessed. That that, but also make sure that somebody. I've done this before, unfortunately, where somebody's passed away, and we've had to figure out how to get into all of those systems. I do having one password because it will give you a printout of an emergency kit. Something happens, this is your kit to get back into your password. So if you forget your
Nice.
password or if something happens to you and you're not able to log in, you still can get somebody to get access to that, which is super helpful when you have passwords that people need that you're the only one that has.
Yeah, I think that's like a big thing. If people don't really think about that, like when a loved one passes away and you need access to whatever, whether it's their bank account or anything, everything's online now. And if you don't have their password or a way to get into a password protector, like is it one password?
No one.
What, then yeah, I think that's really important. So I really like that. Let us know if you have an affiliate link to one password. I was using LastPass forever ago, but then I stopped using them because they had a breach. And so I'm like, that doesn't help me. So I stopped
Well,
using them.
I do have an affiliate link. I can give that to you.
Okay, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yes, that would be fantastic. One password does have a level of encryption that other password managers do not. The unfortunate part of that is if you forget your password, they may or may not be able to help you. If you use my affiliate link, the benefit is that I can help you. So I'd be
Yeah.
able to still access and reset everything so you can still gain access into your password. But if you use the one password on your own and you forget that password, you might be out of luck.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about just like the next level of security. So, like servers and OneDrive and Google Drive and all of those. What do you recommend to people who have maybe they only have 10 or 20 employees but they have information? So, where do they store that and how do they make sure it's secure?
Well, so a lot of people will start using cloud platforms. And so in the cloud of the software that they're using. So if you're using QuickBooks Online, you're not actually storing that on your computer, you're storing that on. If you're using QuickBooks Desktop, then you are storing it in your computer. But I do recommend making sure people's computers are safe and secure. There are a lot of malware that's out there that can infiltrate like software programs. So it's important to know what software, how secure is it, and what level of security is on the user versus on the software system.
Mhm.
So it is a good idea. There are platforms out there that I offer that will manage and monitor the software to make sure that that's secure. It does the same thing on the computer side. If you've got data on the computer, it will make sure it's secure. It is totally a good idea to have some kind of security in place because you never know. The scary statistic is that malware can live on your computer and in your environment for over 100 days and be completely unnoticed. So think about what kind of data you're doing in those 100, 200 days where you're totally unaware you're infected and they are capturing all of the data.
Everything.
So making sure
Yeah.
your computer is secure, even if you're only using cloud platforms, is very important. Making sure your network is secure, especially with remote users nowadays. We have employees that are all over the place. The networks that they're on are not open networks and that they are secure.
Yeah. Logging into Starbucks and then someone's just like copying everything you're doing on your computer.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Running it all.
It happens a lot. Most people don't think that, oh, that never happens. But it does. You just may not know. Making sure that everything is cleaned regularly is a good idea. That's the difference, really, between a paid version of an antivirus and a free version. A lot of people are like, oh, I have the free version. That's great, but it doesn't monitor everything all the time. So you have to go and manage it a little bit more than you would if it was a paid version. You know,
Yeah.
but I'm all about saving money, but just know that when you save money, you replace that with your time. You know,
Yeah,
your
for sure.
time or money.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room with PC versus Mac.
Oh,
Versus Apple. Because we have this thing. So with our book publishing, we use a link that basically you can see where all the clicks came from for each book release that we do. And it's really interesting to see the demographics of how many people are going to the link from an iPhone, how many are going from an Android, how many are going from a Mac, and how many are going from a PC. And it's pretty interesting to also depending on the book and the author on which of their audience is clicking on these things. So it's interesting. But like for me, I've switched to Mac it's probably been 25 years, maybe 20 years that I switched. And I've never been happier. Like I don't have issues. I don't have to run defrag or whatever, like all the stuff that I used to have to do on my PC and spend hours like doing different things on my PC. And I just feel like it's so easy. But I know a lot of people who just don't like Macs and don't use Macs and they have to have PC. So let's get your take on it. You said you were on Apple for a while.
I did mention I worked for Apple for a while. I actually, personally, I prefer PC, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
A lot of tech people will prefer PCs because of the management and the customization that you can do on PC. It's a lot more than a Mac is.
Yeah.
What you get. And
I know boomers really love PC because you could do different things than Mac.
And for gamers specifically, they really like PC because they can upgrade the hardware. The hardware lasts longer. You can upgrade all of the pieces to the computer without having to replace the whole computer. Whereas Mac is pretty much what you get, what you bought is what you have. And so you don't have much opportunity to enhance that or grow that, or it is what it is. So when technology changes, which happens all the time, you have to buy a new computer or a new system. I will say, I tell people do what makes you comfortable, and I make the adjustments. Most IT companies probably wouldn't say that. I think most IT companies are lean toward PC and push their clients towards PC. But personally, I don't want my clients to be frustrated at their computer. Because you said, I've never been happier on them. Push you to a PC and be like, sorry, Jen, you have to be miserable. I'm giving you this.
Yeah.
No, so I have clients that have both. And I will say for the management side, Mac is a tad more difficult to do just because everything is made for PC.
Yeah.
In the world, but there's opportunities and options around that I've been able to find to help manage clients who prefer Mac. I have both a PC and a Mac, but I tend to only use my Mac when I'm troubleshooting a Mac problem. They do exist. The problems do exist, but I think a lot of people also have I just wanted to bring this up. You said Steve Bragg and some of those maintenance things PC from back in the day. Defrag is not necessarily like something you have
not a thing anymore. Oh, nice. That's good.
So most of the maintenance that you used to do on a PC is now fully automated and it's taken care of, except for viruses. So you want to make sure your malware is.
You got to call you if you have a virus.
Exactly. But same thing with Mac. Mac, they can get infected. A lot of people think they cannot, but they definitely. So making sure that is clean as well is just as important as a PC. I think that most people, what you are with is great. And that's what I usually tell them. They're like, what should I buy? I'm like, what are you used to? Because they're so different. It's so frustrating. Get something you're not used to and have it not work the way you want it to work.
Yeah. I also feel like it's what your business is or what you're going to be using it for. Like I said, gamers would like you'd want a PC because, like you said, you can build it out, make it bigger, do different things, have a couple screens. But like for our company, we're very creative. So we do a lot of book covers, a lot of writing, and a lot of Adobe Suite stuff, right? So InDesign and Photoshop and all the things that we're using to create books. So we really like Mac just because it's so simple. But a lot of our employees actually have PC
And you can do all of the Adobe everything on.
on any computer.
It used to be that Mac had that advantage. And they're evened out now, actually, between the two of what's better as far as technical
Yeah.
tech. Like I said, I like the Windows that you can upgrade, but if you got the top of the line Mac, it would still be comparable to what you could find in a PC. And you can do the same thing, just different features, really, that
Yeah.
difference between the two nowadays.
I love that. Tell us, like, what's one thing a business owner should do to make sure that they're staying on top of the technology game?
That's a full-time job.
Yeah.
I really stand by the idea of having really good backup and really good passwords. If you don't have an IT person to manage things, make sure at least those two things are in place. And if you don't manage IT services, which is what we do, it's really a good base for some of those small businesses because they don't really have the capacity for a full-time or even a part. It's
Yeah.
really, I tell people all the time, you don't want a bored IT guy on your payroll. It's not
Yeah.
fun, but like you probably don't want to do that. I joke about that a lot. Bored IT guys, they'll find something to do, and it may not be what you want them to do. So with small businesses who just need a little bit of support, having a managed IT or an IT partner in their company is really going to be the best bet. And finding somebody that you like, trust, and speak your language, something that makes you feel good about what they're doing. That I think that's really important in business, and especially nowadays, all business is done online. Here we are
Yeah.
online. Most things are done over the internet. We want to make sure that's secure, not leaking information,
Yeah.
even accidentally.
Yeah. So does your company help people with moving all their passwords to one pass, or is that something that someone on like an assistant would do?
It's really quite easy. If your passwords already live somewhere, you can import them, export them from where they're at, and import them into the new password manager. Most users will have that option. Uh,
Nice.
and so it's actually quite easy to change your passwords and with manager. And an assistant can do it. I can do it. I can help with that if it's something that you want to do. We also work with many other software vendors that businesses will use, like Microsoft and Google. Uh, I will mention that because one of the benefits of working with a partner on Microsoft or Google, I don't know if you've ever had the lovely experience of trying to get tech support from Microsoft or Google or Adobe
Yeah,
or
and I don't think that exists. Does that even exist?
like it goes out into the void and nobody knows
Yeah.
what happened. I'm a partner for all of those software, which means that you can buy it from me and then I sell it to you at the same price you would buy it for direct. And but then if you have issues, you need support, you're calling me or my company
Yeah.
and you're getting support right then and there instead of sending an email and waiting to see if somebody responds in the next millennia. And so that's really a benefit. So pretty much any software that people use, if I don't have a partnership with it, I'll go find one.
Yeah.
Because it becomes such a benefit for my clients to be able to just call me and say, hey, Kate, I've got this issue with Adobe or I have this issue with Microsoft. And I can just jump in and fix it. And
Yeah.
they don't have to worry or wait and it's just taken care of. So a lot of clients like that. So if I can get more vendor relationships, I'm always up for it because people use different software. People use
Yeah.
and whatever people have, I'm going to go out and find out if I can have some kind of a relationship with that vendor direct. So then the client doesn't deal with it, but we take that off.
I like that. Yeah, back in the day when I first started, my first company was web design and marketing. I put my URL inside the Google Cloud. I paid someone to do it, because I didn't know what that even meant. But then it worked so that, and I don't know if it's a mixture between IT and like DNS, like web server stuff. So anyway, but yeah, so I can check my email on Gmail, even though I don't have a Gmail address with that business. So they put it in the Google
Workspace.
Cloud. This was so many years ago that it was like, I didn't even know it was a possibility to do that. So it was pretty cool. But now they have the Google Workspace. So, I mean, it's the same and it's a lot easier to manage because I can have a back end and don't have to worry about hiring someone to do it. But is that something that you guys would do, is like manage the Google Workspace for someone?
Yep, exactly. Even if they already have it, we can come in as a reseller when their subscription is up for renewal, and then we can manage it from that side. And I've got a couple clients who are still under contract with Google or Microsoft, but I have myself an admin user. It doesn't cost them anything for a subscription for me. And then if they need something, they just call and I'm able to log in as the admin for that, even though I'm not the reseller. I can manage it. So I have a handful of clients that do that right now. And it's fun when they're growing because they call me every week or of, hey, I got a new user, and I get so excited. Yeah, you're growing. Life is good.
I love that. Tell us where people can go to find out more about your company, Rapid Fire IT, and how they can get a hold of you if they want to hire you.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is rapidfire-it.com. So that dash is like a minus sign. There is a contact us option. You can send us an email. If you mention Elite Expert in that email, I'll go ahead and give a free network assessment or a free audit of your system that tells you your liabilities and your strengths of where you're at right now. So it can give you an idea of what you're needing to, what's good, and what's on the horizon for you. I'm willing to give that to your audience for free if they just mention Elite Expert in the email.
Okay. Thanks, Kate. I appreciate that. We'll put that up in the show notes. Thanks a lot for being here. And we look forward to seeing you next time. And everyone who's listening, if this was helpful to you, please share and subscribe. And we'd love to hear your comments and what you thought best about the show. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next time.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full-spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.